Hi, welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs and sometimes also like releases of consoles. I'm DJ, by the way,
And I am Sam, and we are besties that love to game.
and talk about
Yeah,
news.
yeah. I am the local Nintendo bro, and I'm okay to
Yes.
talk about the newest Switch. That's what we're going to chat about today.
Yeah.
So anyway, J Bob J, uh, we were sitting at the table. I don't think I brought this up. Did we tell you about the story about how he's the ring bearer at Hannah and Maxton's wedding?
No.
Okay. So this is great. I just made sure I wanted to make sure I got to talk about it and didn't forget. So In is the flower girl. So In is the flower girl and J is the ring bearer. So we're at dinner and we're talking about how In is the flower girl and how she gets to wear her pretty dress and what she's gonna do. And then just kind of what I thought was out of nowhere, J yells at the dinner table, and I get to be a giant bear.
Oh no, does he think he gets to be a bear?
He thinks he is the ring bear. And so when we told him he is the ring bearer, his 3-year-old mind heard, I'm the ring bear, guys. I am a giant bear. And so he was very excited about that. So I think I'm gonna get him some little bear like mitts, and then he'll wear those with his button up and tie, and he'll have his little bear mitts, and he'll be the ring bear.
That's hilarious. Wait, whose wedding is this for?
Taylor's sister Hannah.
Hannah. That's
So shout out to Hannah
hilarious.
and Maxon. Yeah, but we have a ring bear. Anyway, I thought it was too funny to pass up for the pod.
I love that. You know what? That's great. Are you even gonna check with Hannah, or are you just gonna put little bear gloves on him and just say, "Hey, by the way, my son's a bear for your wedding"?
Yeah, I wouldn't check. I would just do it.
Yeah, awesome, great, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how
So
that turns out.
anyway, okay, so let's talk about the news of the day, the
Yeah,
Switch 2.
it's a
So
Switch,
just yesterday, because we're as on the ball as we can be and as up to date as we can be,
right?
just yesterday was the reveal, was the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. So what do we know? What did we find out?
I
We
know.
found out that the release date is June 5th of this year.
That's like way
So
sooner than I thought.
not too long. Yeah, not too far off. Pre-orders will open on April 9th, which is cool.
Oh,
Specs of this bad boy. What does it look like? It looks like a big Switch. It looks like a bigger version of the old Switch. It has a 7.9-inch LCD, not OLED, LCD. Some people are mad about that. Apparently, it's a beautiful screen.
I did
So
see
I'll
that.
just
Yeah,
I'll just trust folks that know more about screens that it's doing just fine.
yeah.
And then the Switch 1, just for reference. So again, this is 7.9. The original launch Switch 1 was 6.2 inches, and
Oh,
the OLED was 7. So it is considerably larger. Apparently, the thickness is the same, though. So it is bigger, but the thickness is the same. It's a 1080p screen. Get your head out of the gutter, DJ. The 1080p screen, instead of a Switch One, I think was 720. It has 120 hertz variable refresh rate. So a
hmm.
lot of people are freaking out about that, I guess, because a lot of
Why?
most games on, well, I think most games on Switch don't really go over a locked 30 frames per second. So you wouldn't need
Oh,
more than a 30 hertz refresh rate or screen, right?
like
So
good,
people
good
are,
freak out, good freak out.
yes,
Oh,
they're
okay,
thinking, wow, this is not what we expected.
okay,
We did
awesome.
not think that the screen would go up that high. So that's like, I feel like decently better quality gaming TVs are 120. And I
Yeah,
think most of the consoles don't even run games at 120. So anyway, kind of cool. And it's variable. So it won't like, it'll downscale its hertz based on, how many frames per second the game is putting out.
oh yeah,
Docked though, if you put it in the dock, it can support up to 4K in 100 frames per second. So it can go
nice.
4K, which is cool. The storage is way bigger. It's 256 gigabytes instead of the 32 that Switch 1 had. So a lot more storage. But you are still probably eventually, if you get a lot of games, going to want to get a micro SD card to upgrade that. But this one will take the, I guess, new generation. That's the micro SD Express. So you
Hmm.
can't use your old micro SD cards. You got to get the new Express ones. So anyway, just
Well,
some just some specs there.
when it comes to the storage, I guess it doesn't really matter even that much because I was reading that, like for getting games, Even if you buy a physical game, that starting with the Switch 2, the rumor is a lot of those games are going to only be like halfway on the cartridge. I'm saying cartridge, it's not a cartridge, it's a little chip. And maybe sometimes they might even be like totally blank and then you just have to download it. So that, as someone who likes physical games, that makes me sad. Like I won't actually have true ownership over the games.
Oh, I think they've already been doing that with the other systems. I don't know if it's just a Switch 2 thing, but I believe you. I think that's totally going to happen. Yeah, and the other thing about modern games, I think, is they keep sending new patches, right? And so even if you have a physical copy and most of it was on there, they might update it with a patch that you have to download to your system. And eventually you won't even be able to play it unless you had the newest patch. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so yes, there's a whole argument to be made about owning physical media and what do we own nowadays.
Yeah.
But different time, different time.
Yeah.
Um, so we had chatted in our Switch 2 discussion and rumors pod kind of about some different things that might be going on here, and a lot of those were proved to be kind of true, or now we have the answers to. So there are two USB-C ports, one in the top, one in the bottom. So it kind of
Mhm.
allows you can charge from the top, which can sometimes be more comfortable, or you can plug in some peripherals, which we'll get into, some additional devices that can kind of plug into that USB-C port on the top. And that C button, that fabled C button, what
You're a
does it
C
mean?
button.
Got me. You
And
got me
yeah, I
good.
did.
It is the C button, it stands for chat, and it has a game chat feature when you hit the C button.
That was like one of the things that you said it might be, wasn't it? Well,
Yes, I nailed it with the 12 things I brought up.
no, well, no, come on. I think you said chat or something like
I
that,
totally
right?
said, yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I also said cast and communicate and a billion different things.
And cat. I think I said cat. So
I'm sure you said cat.
it is not
But
cat.
anyway, so that's kind of cool. You know, you kind of it allows you to immediately get into kind of a chat with your friends and
Hmm.
start talking to them through the microphone that's on the device itself. That's
That's
supposed
kind
to
of
be
cool.
good at picking you up even across the room or something.
Oh,
Yeah, and then you can also like have your own screen and what you're playing, and then you can have little screens like picture in picture of all your friends and buddies playing their games with their face kind of next to what they're playing. So kind
oh,
of cool.
it was like a little Discordy then.
Yeah, a little Discord like, yeah, but like built-in Discord.
Okay.
And yeah. And yeah, so that's kind of cool. And like we talked about the peripherals and things you can plug into the USB-C port. So a
Hmm.
camera that utilizes the C game chat button comes you can buy with it. They have one that
Oh,
plugs
great.
right into that
Spend
USB-C.
more money for the Switch too. Awesome.
It's yeah, as we'll get into, there will be money involved, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then the Joy-Con. So there are Joy-Con again. These ones magnetically attached, like we talked about. It's not sliding onto rails. It clicks in with magnets.
Magnet.
Um, and then we talked about the mouse controls. We brought that up, and that is a big deal. That is a thing. It is true. Both of them can function as mice.
As little baby mice,
As little mice.
mouses.
What I thought was cool though, like in addition, I've never had like a gyro mice, a gyro mouse, because it has the internal gyro function. Like if you tilt it to the side or twist it, a mouse that we generally use, most of them won't pick that up or won't notice if you lifted it up and tilted it or
Well,
twisted it.
yeah,
But this can. So there's functionality where like you can even do more than just moving a cursor. You could tilt things in space.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There is a fan in the dock. So if that bad boy is running 4K 120 FPS, you will have a fan that tries to cool it down. Yeah, and then they brought up kind of the virtual games, and so I don't know as much about this. You can like share games with people, or if you're in the same place, you could both play on your own Switch if only one of you owned the game. They're
Oh,
trying to make it a lot more conducive to like, or and sometimes you can like rent it out to your friend or something, I think is a feature.
oh,
Um,
like for
that one might have
money?
been discussed on the Switch One last week. No, like you can rent it, like you'll have a virtual game card. So it'll be like I own this game, and then they turn it in, even if it's digital, I'll turn it into a digital card, and I could let you borrow it. I think you have to physically be in the same place when you let them borrow it.
Gotcha.
But then you could have it for like 2 weeks before it would come back to mine.
And while, like, let's say you did that, and well, first, let's say that we lived in the same area and we were in the same room for 2 weeks together. Awesome. and you right, and you gave me the virtual game to play. Could you not play it then, since I was renting
I
it
think
from you?
so. I think it
Yeah,
acts like somebody's actually borrowing it from you. I
cool.
believe I believe so.
That's kind
I
of
thought that was
cool.
kind of cool. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
I think they've been leaning into digital. So the downsides of digital are things like not being able to let your friends borrow it or not being able to kind of like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to let you sell this, but other things, and they're trying to kind of make that more palatable to some folks
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's cool.
Now let's get into a little bit of the
The pricing.
yeah, a little bit of the elephant in the room before we get to the fun stuff about games.
It's
Uh
expensive.
it's kind of expensive and 450 or 449.99 I think in the US dollar is what the
That's
whole thing is.
that is significantly more than Japan, isn't it?
I don't know about that,
Let
but
me.
look, you can look that up. But it's 450. I had heard a lot of people talking about 400 and then now it's 450. I don't know. However, you can get the bundle with the new Mario Kart World for 500.
Wow.
So that's a lot cheaper.
Get this, man.
What?
This is from Reuters. So like super trustworthy news. The Switch 2, as you just said, will retail for $449.99 in the United States, and in Japan, it'll be 49,980 yen, which translates to $334 in Japan. It's significantly cheaper in Japan. I wonder why.
I wonder why exactly. Well, the thing you have to think about, DJ,
Hmm.
about we're just going to throw it out there. We're not a political podcast, but the tariffs that I'm sure adjusted the price of this.
Yeah, I'm sure that they
The
did.
the thing you have to think about is you can always consider buying that American-made Switch 2 that we're going to bring to the States.
Yes, that you can, and oh my
The
God.
production of Switch 2s will move to the United States so that we can make them here and have an made in America Switch 2.
Wow, how great. Are we winning yet? I'm just checking in.
Anyway, sorry, couldn't resist on that one. It got a laugh, I guess, but I'm also sad, sad, sad.
Sad,
Okay.
sad,
The games too, at least we know that Mario Kart World is $80.
Jesus.
I know, so
So
we're just
much.
everything's jumping up.
Like,
I
what? Sam, you and I are adults. We're adults with money and with spouses. And, like, yeah, we can afford an $80 game. That's not a problem to us. But, like, if you and I are like, whoa, $80, like, okay, like, I'll have to, I can't just go purchase, 4 games on a weekend now.
I think I agree. And I think the thing that bothers me more about it is that especially the first party Nintendo games, a lot of them barely ever go on a sale. You're like almost never going to find a sale on those things. So you're going to be paying $80, which
Yeah.
is rough. I mean, I think there is an argument to be made for like, I think $60 games became a thing in like the 90s. And so now it's like 30 years later, or maybe it was the 2000s, but it's like 20, 30 years later. So at some point they had to go up. It felt like it was going to be 70 and now
I
it's
know.
80. And it's like, so it feels bad.
Like it's a team, it's a huge team of people who put years of their lives into these games. Obviously, they deserve to get some sort of like money from that as well. It sucks. It seems that the consumer is being punished.
I agree, and I also think there's a calculus that goes on, and they're in the business. Obviously, they know what they're doing. But what I mentioned about the price of games not going up is one thing, but also the more you sell, the more you make. Especially if it's a digital game and you're not having to package things. There's not a whole lot of price to that necessarily, and there's so many switches out there. There's hopefully going to be so many Switch 2s out there. There's just so many more people playing games
Yeah.
that there's more money to be made. So you'd think, that value proposition of how much do we charge versus how many people do we want this to get to would err on the side of not increasing prices as much. But I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
in the business. Either way, let's jump into fun stuff though. Let's talk some about the games. How does that sound?
Woo! Let's do the games. Let's do some games.
So there's probably more to talk about. I wanted to focus on some things that kind of fit our genre of RPGs and things that we're a little bit more into because there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
But so this is a lot more powerful. It can do a lot more. So what does that allow it to do? It
Yeah.
allows it to bring some powerful ports from before from other games.
Which is cool.
which is cool. So ones that I'd be excited to play, Elden Ring is now
Yeah,
going to be on there. That's cool. That's kind of a FromSoft kind of RPG. You level up and and everything else. It's dark and cool. Final Fantasy VII, I think they call it Integrate. It's Rebirth and Remaster are both coming.
very cool.
So that's awesome. The Bravely Default Flying Fairy is having an HD remaster.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm stoked.
That I mean, okay, you for longtime listeners of the pod, you know that I think the characters in Bravely Default look like Precious Moments characters,
The look is not great.
and I still think that they look like Precious Moments characters. But I think I'll get this game and play it with you. Not,
Really?
yeah, I really do. I mean, I'll have to, get a flippin' Switch 2 first. But yeah, no, I think I'll get the Switch 2 and play this with you because
Awesome.
you've not played the first one either,
I've not
right?
played this one. No,
Yeah,
and I've only heard, and so we'll see what they do with the remaster, what they change about it. But I agree with you. The visuals are not my favorite,
it's
but that's not what I loved about Bravely Default 2. What I loved about Bravely Default 2 was mostly the gameplay. I just felt like
yeah,
the Brave and Default turn-based system and the asterisks, as they called them in that game, that were a job class system,
yeah.
was just chef's kiss,
Yeah,
amazing.
and maybe they'll look even. Here's the thing: it's not that they're bad graphics at all. It's going to be a remaster from the DS, I think, right?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the graphics objectively they look really nice. Okay,
Yeah.
I just don't like the character models because I'm weird. Whatever, but yeah,
No,
I'll
the
play it
character
with
models
you.
are not great,
I will.
but
I'm
hopefully we can
definitely
get
gonna
past
play
that.
it. I'm definitely gonna play it because like the timbre of your voice was so joyful there when I was like, I'm gonna
I
play it
was
with you, and
shocked.
you were like, really? Okay.
I
So
was shocked when you said that.
I know. So I'm totally gonna play it now.
Oh, okay. Well, now that's awesome. Maybe they'll bring what's the second called Bravely Second or whatever. The second one they made it a weird
I
instead
think
of
it's
Bravely
like
Default.
a. Is it like a?
It's like an in between, but it was like the
Yeah.
second one made anyway. But yeah, let's do it. Put it
Let's
on
do it.
the docket. What else? There's Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is
Cool.
coming. So all these ones that were, amazing games, and I've heard that they run well. I've seen some people that got some hands-on time, and I think CD Projekt Red is porting it themselves, and they only got it like 7 weeks, is what this one video I watched said, and they said it ran really well. So that's cool. Let's see. And then the last one was Deltarune. I don't know much about this was the
I don't know anything about that game.
Undertale. I think it's like the Undertale sequels or like similar to Undertale. And so it
Oh,
is
okay, cool.
turn-based like almost 8-bit RPG look, or it's
Hmm.
like really old looking, and it's got some, if it's like Undertale, it's got some cool battle mechanics that kind of gamify it in a strange way. That could be a fun one. That could be one that we'd look at. I feel like that might be up your alley, for
Okay.
Deltarune.
Heck
So
yeah.
okay, jumping forward,
Jumping
since we are
forward.
a family
We are.
in our
We are.
we are a Nintendo Switch Online family. We will now in our family have access to GameCube
No,
games.
wait. I got a question. Is the GameCube Switch Online just for Switch 2, or is that for Switch 1 as well?
What do you,
Um,
oh, well, you have to buy a Switch 2 to play the games online. Good
to,
question.
let me just see. Because that's kind of exciting.
It's exciting. So they only have 3 games so far, and
Okay.
none of them are RPGs. It's
Well, that's okay.
well, it's Wind Waker, like Zelda, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I don't think that counts as an RPG. Maybe you could say it's an action RPG.
Yeah.
It's got Soul Calibur 2, and it's got one other. But I was trying to look through the best GameCube RPGs and what kind of fit things that could be brought to Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh,
And
sure.
the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
number one was Mario, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, but they've already made a
They've already remade
remake of
that.
that.
Yeah.
And then there was Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. There was
Yeah.
Tales of Symphonia. We had just chatted about this. This is where the Star Ocean Online, or sorry, not Star Ocean, Fantasy Star. Yeah, it is
Fantasy.
Fantasy Star on. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you got
Yep.
me on that.
I
That's
got
what
you,
it was.
girl.
No, yeah, I think it was. Let me double check. I want to
There's
say yeah, Fantasy Star Online. There's no such thing as Star Ocean Online. Is
there's
that
no
what you're
yeah,
telling me?
there's no Star Ocean games on GameCube.
Let me find it. Let me find it. Let me find it.
You
I've got my
find it.
top 25 uh games of or RPGs on the GameCube.
I didn't know that Fantasy Star Online was on the GameCube. That's cool.
Yes, Fantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2. I guess that's how they call them, is episodes.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, so I don't, if it's big to be like online, I doubt they would bring that there. But
Right.
anyway, and then how do you say it? Biten Kados, Kados,
Oh, I know what you're
Bacon
talking about.
Kaidos.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah,
know what you're talking
those
about.
are RPGs. They have a few of those that were on the GameCube that are thought of as some of the top RPGs on the GameCube.
Oh
So
my gosh,
some
that's
some
exciting.
definite yeah some definite potential there for games that we might like that fit in our wheelhouse that could come from the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube.
I would love to play Path of Radiance. I never owned a GameCube. I borrowed it. I borrowed my friend's GameCube a couple times to play like the Resident Evil remake and Eternal Darkness when I was like playing survival horror games and everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would love to play Path of Radiance. That sounds super fun.
I think that's the one that stands out the most
Yeah,
too, because Thousand
because
Year Door has already been remade.
yeah,
Then I think Path of Radiance, as long as they aren't remastering that too, is I think there's at least one Fire Emblem that there's been rumors, and it might have been Path of Radiance that they were going to remaster or remake.
we live in the best. I mean, we live in a weird timeline. But one cool thing about when we live right now is that we're getting all these like remasters and like upgraded ports.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I have to think they're doing it because it is easier than making a brand new game, or definitely easier than making a brand new IP. But it
Well,
also is because they made a good game before.
yeah,
Why not make it look better and maybe tweak a few things and repackage it and let a new generation experience it?
well, yeah, those games are still good. They don't look the same way because TVs are different now. Not because the
Oh.
games have aged. I mean, the games have aged, but the televisions have changed how they broadcast or show some of these games. So I appreciate getting these remasters. And also, like you and I were both busy 20 years ago being nerdy students, so we didn't have as much time to game.
No, this is true. This is definitely true. But I'm excited about that too.
Yeah.
What else is new though? Real quick, I'll just touch on this because these are also not RPGs, but they have a new
Oh, that's
thing
okay.
that's like called Switch 2 editions of games. So if a game came out on the Switch, but they want to re-release it with better graphics and better frame rate and a lot of times new stuff. It sounds like they add new stuff to it.
Huh.
There will be a Switch 2 edition of the game. Currently, and so the thing is though, it does require like you pay for this additional. So it's not just like, oh, I owned it on the Switch 1. Now I
Yes.
get it the Switch 2 edition. No, you got to pay for the upgrade. But
Nintendo trying to get every last coin out of you. We get
they
free
are.
upgrades over on PlayStation.
But do they? But what do you mean upgrades? Like if
Like
you
if
had it on PlayStation 4, they'll give it to you on PlayStation 5.
like if you own it on PS4, you can put the disc in and it'll be like, "Hey, do you want to play with the?" And you put it into your PS5. They'll be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, do you want to play with PS5 upgrades? Here you go. Just you have to download it again, but like here you go. That's fine.
Cool.
It's not like
Cool.
DLCs or anything. You have to pay for that again, but like
That's the thing. I think I'm torn. I think yeah, if all it did was
Natalie and Brulia.
upscale.
Time.
um I now I'm all off.
You're
Oh
welcome.
man. Um the if it was just upscaling the resolution and frame rate, I would be more upset. But I do think they add something. I think like there's so the games that there are, they definitely add something for a lot of them. So for Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, the two
Mhm.
big Zelda games, they're having a new edition of all of those. The Metroid Prime Beyond is not even released yet. It's the new Metroid Prime game, and they're going to have a Switch 2 edition for that. I
That's
don't know if
cool.
there's anything new, but it's like definitely you could do like 4K and stuff of the new Metroid Prime, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I never played it, but there's like a
Nope.
whole new adventure. So that one
Okay.
I know they added something to, and then I think they added more stuff to. I think it's Mario Party Superstars or one of the Mario parties, and there might be another one. But anyway, so
Cool. 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 Cool.
this new thing exists.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um,
And then we got
Last
some
thing.
Pokemon game.
Well, okay, so there's first parties and exclusives that I wanted to put in a next category, and Pokemon is it's an RPG, right? It's turn
Yeah.
based for
Oh my gosh, it
sure.
totally is.
It's totally an
100% an
RPG. It's
RPG.
just one we don't play. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Maybe
it
we will one day.
and it happens to be like the most popular freaking thing out there. I guess the Pokemon Company. I'm pretty sure I've heard that they're worth more money than like Disney and stuff like that.
Probably. I believe it.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and you don't think about it. And I guess they're not really first party because they're like their own thing, but they're only involved with Nintendo. I don't know. what's second party? I'm just gonna is this what you would call second party?
I
What
don't know. Is
qualifies as a
this
second party
is this
studio?
like first source and second source right now? Because it's been a while
Well,
since
so
school, and I don't want to.
no, so like a first party developer,
Yeah,
it means Nintendo publishes it or whatever, and it's a Nintendo IP, and
yeah.
Nintendo puts it on Nintendo systems.
That's
A
got to be
third party,
That's Pokemon for sure.
no, it's
No,
the
it's not.
It's the Pokemon company. That's what I'm telling you. It's a different
Oh,
company.
shoot! I gotcha.
Yeah. So first party would be everything that's just Nintendo,
Like
like
Mario,
Mario
Kirby.
and Kirby and yeah, and Smash and Mario Kart and those kind of things. But third party is like, a completely different developer. Like FromSoft doing a game is third party.
Huh.
Yeah. So what is, I don't know, is that what second party is?
I
Pokemon?
don't.
Anyway,
I mean, maybe. I don't.
I'm
I don't.
making things up and somebody out there knows. Yell at us online and tell
Yeah.
us the
Leave
answer.
an angry comment on our YouTube. Go for it.
People like doing that nowadays,
Yeah,
apparently.
they do.
Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, so yeah, there's a new Pokemon Legends. So that was that Legends Arceus. That's the one thing I'll say. It's called Pokemon Legends ZA. If I played a Pokemon game, definitely the one that looked the coolest was the Legends Arceus.
Hmm.
So Legends ZA looks okay. Looks kind of cool because
Cool.
you literally just you throw your Pokemon out there and it's more feels kind of more real, like you're actually the Pokemon trainer, not just like oh, I ran and there's a random battle and now I'm doing Pokemon
Oh,
fighting. And not that I'm hating on random battles, don't get me wrong,
no,
but
no,
it
no,
just
no.
it felt more immersive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I played one, I would play the I watched someone play Pokemon Shield, Sword and Shield, where
Sword and
you're
Shield.
one or the other. It came out, I think, right at the beginning of the pandemic, maybe like 2019.
Okay, and you liked it?
It seemed, I mean, Max liked it, so I watched him play it, and it seemed fun.
Oh,
I don't
Max
know.
played it
Oh yeah, Max likes Pokemon,
like all the way through.
like all the way through. Yeah.
What does Max think of the Legends games?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him. I don't know if he knows about it, but I like watching the we call it Pokemon tops or bottoms because it's Sword or Shield. So
That's funny.
yeah,
That should be the next Pokemon. It's
so
not Scarlet and Violet, it's tops and bottoms.
tops and bottoms, whatever your kink is.
But so the other one that a couple of the other ones that are first parties or exclusives, there weren't really any RPGs. I think that's what we are waiting on are a lot of RPGs probably, or especially
Yeah.
turn-based ones. But there was a new Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So that's a Muso game. That's one of those
Oh
Muso
yeah, yeah,
games.
yeah.
Like the Warriors games are the Muso ones. And that has leveling, it has RPG elements, and it has characters and there's a story and those kind of things. And this is when you're battling huge swaths of enemies and just doing, giant damage and trying to coordinate on a battlefield. And but it's about the imprisoning war, which is kind of the backstory of Tears of the Kingdom's story. So kind of cool. And then the Dust Bloods was neat looking. I don't know if it's an RPG technically.
No, it
It's made.
is. It
Is it
is.
okay?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
made by FromSoft and it's Elden Ring like. But then I guess the thing that makes me question it is it's apparently multiplayer and not just like a single player experience like Elden Ring. It's like a multiplayer thing.
Well,
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that doesn't make it not an RPG. I mean, hello, WoW or Final Fantasy 11 or 14.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe it's akin to that, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like the visuals on it, the look. It's very
It
yeah
looks pretty. Yeah, yeah.
Castlevania,
It
but
does look
it
Castlevania.
it's cool. It kind of had a cool vibe to it. And then somehow there was like an old school Gollum mech type guy that like had a jetpack and flew around. And then there was a
Cool.
dinosaur. Did you watch the Dust Bloods
I
thing?
did. I did actually.
Yeah, they're like somebody turns into a dinosaur and chews up somebody. Anyway, it was cool. So some fun stuff, but I think there's so much more that they're gonna have to reveal. There's got to be so many developers that are just chomping at the bit
Oh
to
my
champing
God,
at the
right?
bit, whatever,
Champion.
to champing at the bit to get involved. So anyway, that's about all I had to talk about though.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
exciting. I think it's more powerful than people thought. I'm cutting you off. Do not talk. This is my episode.
okay, sorry, Sam. Ah. I'll put myself on
But
mute.
okay, Beyonce. Um, but yeah, so I think it's more powerful than people thought. I think it also hits a lot of the things that they wanted. They pretty much just wanted, I think most people wanted just a more powerful Switch.
Yeah.
I think it provides some cool functions with the chat. It provides some cool functions with the additional USB drive. Anyway, a lot of cool spec stuff. The price of the system and games is a downer.
That's a big downer.
It's a big downer. So we'll have to see how that goes. But the current situation with the games, especially the ports, look awesome. I feel like pretty much any game, as long as it sells well, that comes out in the next couple years, they're gonna try to put it on the Switch too. Also,
They have got to port. I'm just asking for a Super Nintendo port at this point, and I think most people are like port frickin' Chrono Trigger. What the hell?
well,
Just
remaster that or
remaster,
remake it.
I mean, truly, at this point, just put it on the Switch Online. I'd be just as happy.
There's got to be, there's got to be something behind the scenes about that. Like somebody's working
Oh,
on it, don't you think?
there's gotta be. I mean, there have been rumors of a remake of that for like years, and it's not even. I mean, hot take. It's an awesome game. I don't think it's not my favorite RPG, but like I've played it one time, and I would love to play it again. But now at this point, I'm in this holding pattern of
Yeah,
like
waiting on a remake or
I'm waiting on.
yeah,
I mean, that's what I did with like the past like 4 years with Lunar and like with Star Ocean 2. I was like, I'm
yeah,
gonna hold off playing them because I've got a feeling they're gonna remake them, and I was right about both of those. So I
yeah. You
think they're
were.
gonna.
So you're
Yeah,
I,
yeah. I'm right. You're wrong. Shut
you
up.
come at me, bro. No,
Yeah.
you nailed it. You nailed it. So I hope you're kind of like prescient. You're kind of like a
I
little
am
bit of a
precious. Thank you.
you're kind of like a little bit of a what am I trying to say? I want to say
Fortune
gypsy,
teller.
but that sounds bad.
Yeah. I think we say like
Yeah,
premonition.
fortune teller,
Premonition-y.
premonition. Yeah, yeah. You kind of have that. You have that. I do not.
I do have
You've
that
got that
seventh
little.
sense. It's true.
Anyway, well, cool. This was fun. I liked chatting about it. I'm excited for it to come out. I'm gonna start saving my pennies now, though.
Jesus, yeah, same. Sam, what are you playing right now?
Ooh. So
Ooh,
still Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Definitely that.
nice.
There's not much that's different from last time. I'm playing that. I'm hopping on with the friend group to kill some monsters and Monster Hunter Wilds every once in a while, which is
Cute.
fun. And that's kind of it. I really need to get more hours into what I need to do is get a bunch of hours into Xenoblade Chronicles X and soon because
So
I'm
you
getting
can.
hyped for Claire Obscura Expedition 33, which is like a month away or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That comes out. I
Like the end
think
of this month, isn't it?
the end. It comes out like a week after Lunar, so like we are getting fed in April.
Okay, yeah, I'm also excited for Lunar, but I'm sorry, like I've been hyped since
No.
I
Yeah.
watched more about Claire Obscura.
Oh my gosh, that's like so up your. I mean, I'm gonna play Claire also. Like
I'm gonna play Claire.
I'm gonna play it too.
Anyway, but what are you playing, or are you still trying to protect your time to get yourself all prepared for Lunar?
Last night I downloaded a game on my Steam Deck because I'm going to be gone next week on a gig. So I wanted to take something with me. So, and it's like
Smart.
thank you, right? It's like a 10 or 12 hour game. It's called Long Gone Days.
Long John
And
Silver's?
Long John Silver's Long Gone Days, and it's a RPG that takes place in like modern times, and it's like war based.
So
And
it's
that's
Long Gone Days, but it's about today.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's essentially like I just played like the prologue last night and I was like, this is kind of fun. And it's like 12 hours. Awesome. Great. I can speed through this in a weekend.
Cool. That's fun. Yeah, that's always a fun one. If you can kind of do a bite-sized story all together, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
nice.
And then just protecting my time until Lennar comes out.
Well,
How
tell them where they can find us and tell them where they can vote on the final that's coming up in our best RPG March
it's
Madness
getting wild. By the time this episode comes out later today, we should probably have a pretty good idea later tonight, honestly.
of what the final is.
What the
Yeah.
finals are. Yeah. So y'all can find us at Turn Based Besties on Instagram. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, what have you. You search for Turn Based Besties, you're gonna find us. Go to our socials. Let us know. Are you excited for the Switch 2? Are you as excited as Sam is with that cute little giddy laugh he made?
Probably not.
Maybe. He might be. I don't know. If you have any comments, any questions, and they're not really mean, why don't you email us at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com or leave us hate comments on our YouTube? Why
It's
not?
okay.
It's cool. It's whatever. Oh, my friend. I love going on new adventures with you on each new episode here at Turn-Based Besties.
Aw, thank you. But
What?
like I say,
What
like
do
we
you
say,
say? What do you say?
we say
What?
that when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and I found you, my turn-based bestie.
That was on point. That sounded like you were the star of an RPG.
Didn't it, right? Yeah, the
Yeah.
power of friendship. Anyway, this is Sam and DJ, turn-based besties. Bye!
Bye.